everyone, and welcome to the Rom-Com Love Podcast. I'm Catherine,
I'm Brennan.
and we are so excited to have Cindy Busby with us.
Hey, hello everyone. I'm Cindy.
Thank you for all the support you've given for the Rom-Com trivia. So you are not a stranger to the channel. We are just adding a new element to it, and I'm
I
really
love it.
excited about that. And
Yeah, who doesn't love a
excited.
rom-com?
That and really, basically Brennan's boyfriend said, "Okay, when Calls the Heart is over," because we watched it together and
Yeah,
we're filming ourselves, and he goes, "What are you two gonna do now?" So we're
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like, challenge accepted, Evan.
Mhm.
There's
And
always something we can do, trust me.
right.
Always.
And we haven't had the opportunity to watch When Hope Calls together yet because the last 3 weeks have been busy in both of our lives, but we will watch this Sunday together. So we'll get it started.
I love it.
So my first question is for Suze. If she was our tour guide, if Brennan and I were coming to visit Brookfield, what stops would we have to make?
Oh, well, you would definitely go to the craft service table.
Oh, well,
Absolutely.
cool.
Which is, where the food's at, number one. That those are Suze's priorities. Um, she would also go to the general store where there's also food. Uh
Being a theme.
Yeah, and maybe, the infirmary because maybe she ate too much and now she has a tummy ache.
Mhm. Makes sense.
No, any special corner outside, like would we go to the prairie or anything like I mean, because
Oh, well,
I
the
loved your
field.
videos. Yeah, the
Yes,
field.
the field for sure. So, just outside of the town, there's, like, a little hill where there's a little forest, and it's a big field that leads to the town, and I would
Mm.
take Suze there for a walk every lunchtime, and so I've, like, 100 photos of her looking down on the town, from that location.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
so
really cute.
fun. So cute.
Yeah, speaking
All
of
right, well
sweet,
tell her
she's look
oh,
at her, she's passed out. Woo! There goes my computer. She's passed
Hi,
out right
Cindy.
here.
she obviously had one too many treats not that long ago.
Honestly, you're not wrong. He was, like, barking at me. I was like, "Okay, just eat this treat and like, go to bed before I do this interview."
Well, if and fingers crossed when there is a season 3, we'll book her as our tour guide.
Mhm.
Yes, she would be the
Yes.
best. She would be the best. But she would definitely show you the trailer, and then she always sits on my lap when we're in the hair and makeup chair, and she's absolutely loved. And anytime I didn't bring her to set, I'd always get in trouble because everyone would be like, "Where's Suze?" And I'm like, "I only have one scene today. She's relaxing at the hotel."
She's having puppy spa day.
That's
Yeah.
right. Puppy
Yes.
day. Yeah.
Oh, funny. Okay, Brennan.
Um, well, Cindy, it's so great to see you and Christopher Russell together again on our screens. We love seeing the two of you. How has your established friendship and shorthand with each other played into the challenge of making a known series refreshed in so many ways? New
Mm.
characters, new storylines, while balancing history.
Whoa, there's so many parts of that question. Well, first of all, our friendship is um it's really special. Like I've worked with many people throughout my career, and you get along with so many people, and then you hope you get to work together again, and then you don't, but then sometimes people just like find their way back into your life, and he and I have always collaborated together in such a fun and professional and unique way where we can really like laugh a lot, but also like really work out the scene and figure out, what's working, what's not working. And because a lot of the movies that we've done together are done really quickly. You have 3 weeks, so you really want to have someone that you can run lines with, that you can talk about the scene, and for the most part, people are usually open to that. But when you have someone, it just like clicks. Like, I don't know, I feel like chemistry is one of those things where you just can't describe it, you know what I mean?
Mm,
So it just
Mhm.
is, or it just isn't. And
Yeah.
friendship truly like we'll text each other, once in a while, be like,
Mm.
hey, like, are you gonna post about this thing? Or like, okay, did you hear the movie's coming out? Or did you hear that there might be there's like a lot of
Mhm.
back and forth of keeping each other in the loop. And I
Mm.
think that, being able to bring the banter that we have in modern day movies together and finding a way to bring that into the dialogue of a period piece was
Mhm.
probably the more challenging part to us
Mhm.
because there's not as much open dialogue back then, in
Mhm.
that there were things that you'd hold back on,
Mhm.
the societal pressures, etc., or
Yeah.
societal acceptances of what you can and can't do as like a woman and a man together in public, etc. So all
Mm.
those things we were finding out together, but it was
Mhm.
it was really great because I think because we have so much comfortability together, it made that part so much easier to navigate. And I feel like we know each other as actors and as people, and we're able to mesh that together. But honestly, I was thoroughly surprised in that there was such a side of Chris that I got to see on set that I'd never seen before, and vice versa.
Mhm.
So it
Mm.
was really fun in that regards, where you never know everything until you're like in the situation. You're like, oh, wow, okay, you as a Mountie, this is like such a different vibe. And like, oh,
Right.
you as Nora in 1920 is like such a different vibe. So
Mhm.
it was, yeah, it was just the best. Like, honestly, anytime you can work with your friends, it's the best. It's just the best. There's no other way to put it.
Yeah.
No
Mhm.
eloquent way to put it other than that.
You
Yeah.
guys also had the challenge, and I actually just listened to Bill Abbott yesterday. I did the season or the Prime app where you get to
Oh,
see
nice.
that. So I got to see four.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
so when I did that, I was listening to him talk, and and he was, and you're talking about how things have changed, and obviously because you had a season one, and you can come into season two without really watching season one. That's the
Yep.
beauty of it. But then,
Yes.
of course, you do have that fan base, the hopefuls, and of course, the Hardys that will spill over. So, you get that. So, you have that kind of pressure of, and so I can imagine having a friend in your corner and somebody that you've got that history with helps with the history as you guys are doing this too, then.
Yeah. And I think it's helpful, obviously there's some fans that are, it's tough for them to like
Hmm.
let go of certain characters that, they just weren't ready to let go. And I understand because the first season was like 5 years ago and they didn't quite get that. Um, but I do feel the way, like you said, the way it was written, there's like a lot of justice made to those characters, and
Hmm.
giving them that space to kind of tie a bow in it. And who knows what's to happen in the future,
Yeah.
like if someone can pop in and pop out. But yeah, things change in 5 years. People have other jobs and they're doing great, and you're just happy. And that's just the truth about being an actor, right? Like you're not going to wait around for something to
Yeah.
come around. You hope for the best, and they've done incredible things. And I understand also, like, quote unquote, filling those shoes, even though they're completely different set
Hmm.
of shoes, right? Like, and that I'm not trying to fill. I'm Cindy playing Nora. That's completely different. I think it would have felt a lot weirder if I was coming in playing like Lillian, for example.
Oh.
Be like,
Mm.
no, thank you. Like, I would
Hmm.
never do that. Um, that would just be bizarre. But yeah, I feel, there's a bit of stress around it because people have their ideas, but I have to trust in that, like, I'm coming in with a fan base and lucky enough that a lot of them are of the same, the same fan base. So that
Hmm.
makes things a lot easier. And I think we've won over a lot of people that because of the way that the stories have been shared, and and because it's such an ensemble cast too, and because
Hmm.
there's so many of those characters that were in season one that are in season two, it just
Mhm.
makes the transition so much easier
Yeah.
um for the fans of the first season, and then When Calls the Heart too.
Mhm. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Totally.
So as you said, we are halfway through the season. It's a quick
Mhm.
season.
Yeah,
So I'm like, I actually don't know how it's the end of May or April already, I'll be
I
honest.
know, it's so crazy. Tell me about it.
So as we've come to learn about Nora, we've learned that she's compassionate, smart. She's definitely got a bit of some feistiness in her, and
Mhm.
she's an independent go-getter. She may or may not have her eyes on a certain person in red. We will see. But how else would you describe Nora as we currently have known her these last 3 episodes, or even maybe as we're going to get to know her in the remainder of the season?
Mm. Um, I mean, those are all really good, great descriptions. Yeah, definitely smart, definitely passionate. And definitely a go-getter, like you said, because to be a woman in 1920 and to be a lawyer in a world where there was a very low percentage at the time,
Hmm.
to
Yeah.
be that person and to like, stand in your own in that world is quite a feat. And so you have to be able to have a lot of confidence and a lot of ownership for what you can do and what you're capable of and what you stand for. I think a lot of it stems from her broken family as well. Like, I think family has always been really important to her. And because of what happened with her family, it was so out of her power because she was so young. And so I think that,
Mm.
for her being at the orphanage, it's kind of a second chance, not only with Lillian, but being able to help these kids and being a role model to them, or at least like, like be there for them and help out and, like helping like at the home and wanting to kind of make right for what she couldn't do in the past. So I think she has a
Mhm.
lot of like what's the term? Like a lot of like unresolved family stuff or unresolved feelings that she's like
Mm.
navigating and healing through. And I
Mm.
think Brookfield is the perfect space for her to feel some of that healing occur. And then, also the what being welcomed. Maybe she didn't feel like she had a family, but now this town feels like a family. So yeah, I don't know. Like I think everything you said is pretty
I
much on
like check,
the nose.
check.
Yeah, I think she has a lot of, she's not a mother, but I think she has a lot of motherly instincts within her, and she has that need, that want in her heart, to
Mhm.
take care of like the young and the innocent and that's a really beautiful attribute of hers. Like she's a real caregiver.
Mhm.
And I think, part of that side of her, perhaps she hasn't really explored that much, being in the big city,
Mm.
etc.
Mm. Absolutely. One of my favorite scenes of yours in the very first episode was when Nora would be sleeping on the couch and the girls
Mm.
would want her to do their hair every day. And I just loved seeing the bond that she had with these children so quickly. I mean, less than a day, just already
Yeah.
making these connections and attachments. And that was really neat.
Yeah, there's something so honest and truthful and vulnerable about children. And
Mhm.
I think that that's something that she can relate to in a lot of sense.
Mhm.
So she, like, you can't help but fall in love with those kids,
Oh.
and I love that she has that compassion and that willingness to just be present with them.
Mhm.
Um, because right now that's all they have, which is,
Mhm.
both lovely and sad all at once.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes.
Did we ever, okay, we established that she is like 10 years younger than her older sister,
11,
Lillian's mom?
11,
11?
11.
Okay.
Mm.
So did we ever establish how, I'm just because just curious because I have an aunt who's like only like 12 years older than me too.
Yeah.
So do we have, I mean, was it established of what the age difference was between her and her niece? Like, could they have grown up together, kind of a thing possibly?
I feel like That's a great question. I feel like her and Lillian were probably probably about the same age difference as she would have been
Mm,
her sister. Um,
Mm,
okay.
so that seems about accurate. Um, yeah, so they're still like seemingly, obviously close. And
mm,
because her sister moved away before she could ever get close to
Hmm.
her, in a way she never really had that much of a relationship with her sister.
Yeah. Well, I was
Yeah.
just definitely gonna say that would help. I mean, not help, but that actually plays so much more into that feeling lost or not feeling like you have that connection either which direction. So there's a lot to
Totally.
explore there. Yeah.
Yeah, and that
mm,
was obviously like a very important part to like really underline in the show of like saying that my sister was indeed 11 years older than me because
Mhm.
obviously Lillian and I look somewhat in the same age
Mhm.
range.
mm.
Obviously Lillian and Morgan are younger than Cindy and Nora, but we won't say anything.
We won't say
Um,
anything.
yeah, yeah,
Hey, you know what? We take not looking our age, right? We'll take it.
that's
Mhm.
right, that's right. It's
Absolutely.
fine.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, funny. Oh, go ahead, Brennan.
Um, well, so we know being a series regular allows for deeper arcs and character developments as an actor. What do you and Chris, as the lead team, hope viewers may connect with in the characters of Brookfield?
Oh, um, I think that the thing that unites, well, what brings the characters together is the unity, that they are there for one another. They've created a community. Um, and I think that that's something to take away as an audience member to watch it and see how these people come together. And you'll see as the season goes on, like they really rally together to help each other out in a time where it wasn't necessarily easy. I mean, life was simple, and in that way sometimes it was a little easier than it is now, but at
Hmm.
the same time it was more complicated because you didn't have electricity, you didn't have like the benefits of modern day age. So I think something I would love for people to walk away with is just like a coming together and a an acceptance and a loving, and how easily they welcome people like Nora and Hannah's character and Constable Michael Fletcher. Like there's something about that where it's like you got to help your neighbor, and I really I think that that's really important, and helping with like kids and animals and all that kind of thing. I just think it sounds really simple, and yet it's not, because nowadays it
Yeah.
seems somewhat, most people don't even know their neighbors, and somehow we have a simpler life and yet not. So people had to rely on each other a lot more then, and I think that that's a really beautiful thing to take away. And I think that Brookfield is in all of us. Like all of the characters represent like a side of us that we all have within ourselves, um and we can all kind of pinpoint who we can relate to the most, when in fact
Mm,
we can all really relate a little bit to every character. And I think that that's a really beautiful thing. And to be able to have those conversations with your entire family, because your entire family can watch the show, is such a really beautiful thing. Like I know Chris and I've had this conversation many times where like every Sunday he would sit down when he was a kid and watch like Road to Avonlea. I would watch Little House on the Prairie, like stuff like that, where you could sit with your family and watch that and feel good, and then have discussion over dinner or dessert or whatever, and be like, hey, what was that like? Or what did you think of this? And we can all watch
mhm.
it together, and we don't have to wait for the kids to go to sleep or whatever. And I think that's a really special and unique thing that I like. I'm really grateful to be a part of.
Oh, definitely. So we
Absolutely.
talked about the kids, and you guys have some great kids on the cast. Do you
Yes.
guys do you have any fun from your filming days and stuff like that? Any fun behind the scenes stories with just the kids themselves? Because obviously you have quite a few scenes with them every day.
I have so many memories with them. First of all, what's funny about them is so kids on set can only work like 8 hours, but it's not like a full 8 hours. They have to go to school and then they have little breaks after they've been on set for a little bit of time. So there's always those components that you're kind of working with slash against.
Hmm.
So there was some times where we call it when like one of the kid actors turns into a pumpkin is like when they have to go home and there's no way around it. Like it's like, and you're done. See you later. You know, as soon as so there's a couple times that, you know, we would shoot their coverage, like we'd shoot a wide shot, which everyone is in, and then you would shoot their coverage. And then I'd be on like on the inside of the camera. And then when it would come to my coverage, there were times where they became a pumpkin. And so I would have to do my coverage with like the stand-in or like with our continuity. And thankfully I'd seen like how they did the scene and I had an awareness of it. But
Hmm.
there was definitely a few times that happened where I was like, okay, this is really going to challenge my, you know, my acting skills. But then again, I've had that happen many times with animals as well. But yeah, the kids are so funny. There were a few times where we have big eating scenes, and when it would be my coverage and they would be like around the table, saying their lines, they would like make faces at me, like behind the camera, and they'd just like zone out and they'd like play with a paper or like their fork or their spoon, like, because I mean, kids are kids. They're gonna lose like their
Yeah.
focus. And like I always think that's so interesting. And the later the day gets, like if they have like a later call time so they can work later, um, it's always interesting because you know, kids usually go to bed like maybe like 8 or maybe 9, I'm not sure. And you know, when the 9 o'clock hour hits, they're like, you can tell like, you know, at 1 p.m. they were like jumping on the walls and like joking every 2 seconds. And then like 8 9 p.m. hits and they're just so tired and out of it. And then I
So
put
that's when you give
them
them
in.
the scenes in the bunk beds, huh? You're
Oh
like,
yeah. Well, there's the pillow. So episode 3 has a pillow fight where the kids or the boys were pillow fighting.
Yeah.
And
mhm,
the actual kids, there were times where they get ahead of themselves where they can't
mm,
stop and they kind of forget that they're like on set because again they're kids, right? But they're also in an adult world. This is a job, like we're
mhm,
working, but kids are kids and they're going to have fun and they're going to forget that they're working, and it's a lot of responsibility for them. So there's, you know, there's some that scene where they were pillow fighting, like there was a couple times where like the director or the first AD or myself, we'd be like, hey guys, we're shooting, you have to say your line now. I would forget because they were just like hitting each other and they were like, ah, and they get like
Oh,
rambunctious and hyper.
oh
And so
yeah.
it's those kinds of things where like, and because our youngest was Ashton, and I think was 7 or 8, and they go
mm,
to 13. Abby was 13. So you know, they're still pretty young kids when you think about it.
yeah.
So they lose the focus, but it's the best. I mean, the things they come up with, the jokes they say, and I'd always like tease, you know, have fun with them, joke around, tease them, and yeah, we had a
Mm.
real time. I'm a good person to have around when it comes to kids because I can be very like silly, but then also be like, okay, guys, the camera's about to roll, and then we like go into it, you know. So
Oh,
you know,
yeah. Totally can see that. You're the fun aunt, I bet you too.
I am.
Oh, completely.
You have to be. You have to be.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
Ah,
awesome that the kids that they have that much fun on set, you know, that they're having so much fun that they forget that they're filming or need some redirection. That's
Yeah.
great.
Well, and that's the beauty of this show anyway, because there's 6 of them, they can all play together. So they go to school together and then they're on set together and then, you know, their parents are hanging out together and then they're hang out with each other at the trailers. So they're like
Mhm.
in a whole community together, which is pretty rare. Like, you know, when I was on Heartland and Jessica Amley was on the show, she was the youngest one on set. She was the only kid on set. And I mean,
mhm,
she was very like I would hang out with her and we'd all hang out with her, but it's a different thing when they've got a few together versus
Mm,
this one kind of thing.
mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Cindy, if you could change characters for a day, which one would you choose and why?
Ooh. Um, I would go with it's tough. I mean, I really like Hanukkah Talbot's character. I really love Maggie. She's
Mhm.
just like such a grounded. I also think Hanukkah just does such a great job with the character as well. I don't know if I could actually do it that much justice, but yeah, I just think Maggie, like with the infirmary and all that, like, and then the whole Sam storyline, I think that's a pretty fun
Mm.
character. But I'd probably say maybe Ronnie, Neil Crone, played by Neil Crone. He's just, the comic relief of the show, and I love
Yes.
comedy. So I'd probably say like one of those two. There's something really fun about being the comic relief. Like everyone remembers him, even if he just has one scene, it's the scene, it's just funny. And I really love his dynamic with Michael Fletcher, Chris Russell's character too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
those scenes were great.
Oh, they were. He's a hoot.
Let's so yeah.
And like,
You aren't a stranger to working with horses. Are we gonna see Nora on a horse?
um,
Oh,
no, you're good. On this scene, I didn't ride a horse this season. I was just driving the horse and buggy. So there's no like me on the horse, which I was like kind of excited about because it's been a minute. But yeah, like we'll see
mm-hmm.
maybe next year, although there is a lot less pressure about driving the horse and buggy to a certain extent. So I'm kind of enjoying that. It's hard with the skirt, to ride a horse. Like I'm not doing any side saddle, so
Aw, I was gonna say this fan base really likes their duo Mountie and the girl rides. So,
Mhm.
you want to just put that out there in the universe.
I have no doubt that that'll happen at some point. But
Yeah,
we gotta give. Well, first of
Mhm.
all, Michael and Nora have to kind of
I
get
know.
along first.
Some of us like to rush things. We're
Some of us are impatient, just
No, we
just
just
a
want to
little.
know, right? We just want to see it, like, but don't worry.
yes.
There'll be some really nice moments, which is great. It's got a good place to go.
Oh,
Mm.
good. That's
It was
exciting.
fun to see Nora take the reins
Oh,
as a start.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
and yeah.
That's how I got the feisty. I was like, yep, that girl's like, nope, that's mine. Thank you.
Yep.
Right.
Yes. Sorry, Mountie.
It is my wagon, like it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And actually, this is perfect because the next question is about the banter that you guys have had. So we've had some great banter between, of course, episode 3 was the cake there with the wagon ride and the
Mm-hmm.
lunch and type of everything like that. And I know as rom-com fan, always, of course, the push and pull is always one of my favorite ones.
Mm-hmm.
But as Michael and Nora start to learn more about each other, what other rom-com tropes do you think that would you like to see or will we may see in the next few episodes that you can think of?
Ooh, good question. Well, of course they've got the back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that can't last forever because you want the audience to like them together. But then, Nora is a lawyer, and he is a constable. And so there may be some things that get in their way,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of forbidden fruit, so to speak. That they're like, you finally you start to get close and then something gets in the way. So that's certainly one of those for sure.
Okay, so frustration. No, I'm kidding. We should just call that the frustration trope.
We should. Yes.
The throw tomatoes at the screen when you're like, oh, again.
A little bit of yelling at the screen. It's okay.
Yeah, and she may also get her hopes up about something and then falls
Mm.
through. So,
Oh.
which is classic love of, hoping for something or expecting something and then it not following through is always kind of sad and disappointing. So more tomatoes to
Mm.
throw.
As long as fingers, I mean, obviously you can't say, but as long as fingers crossed, that's not 1159.9.9 where you're just like, oh, then it's the real tomatoes.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah, totally, totally.
It moves to watermelons.
Yeah,
So basically, we need to just get a fruit basket and just be ready to just chuck. Just
yeah. And then just get your mop ready too, because then you're gonna have to clean up on aisle 3. So that's a
that's true.
Yeah, that's a lot of mess. I'll have Brendan come watch that with me that day then for sure. I need a help partner in crime.
Well, we've had some great comedy, and you mentioned Ronnie. We do adore him. He's wonderful so far. Can you share your top moments that we've seen already these past 3 episodes?
oh wow. Um Top moments. I would say I really love the scene. Dude, it doesn't have to be a scene with me in it, right? Like I
Oh
could
no, no,
whatever.
no, any of them.
I really love the scene where Ben and Ronnie are like, hey, have you seen like the constable or whatever? And then
Mhm.
all of a sudden they're like, wait, hide. And then they go into like the alleyway and,
Yeah.
and then he walks by and he goes, and he's like, oh, hey, Ben, hey, Ronnie. And they're like, oh, hey there. Like, and they're like, and they didn't like know that he saw them because he's got basically like 360 vision.
Mhm.
So I thought that scene was hilarious. I also really love, hmm, I feel like, I really love the scene where, oh gosh, there's so many good ones.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, Wait, did you say they have to be funny or just any scene?
We were talking about the comedy, but actually any of your top scenes will, yeah, we'd love to hear which have been your top.
Well, okay, so this scene wasn't particularly funny. However, I really you know what? I really like the scene where they're all sitting down and making up the rules, like the town meeting or
Oh,
whatever.
Yeah.
Bonnie and Ben and Maggie and
mhm.
um,
Mhm.
Debbie, and where they're like whoever wants this, like vote. And I just thought that that was like I love dynamic scenes where
Mhm.
one's characters and their character flaws like just pop right in and yeah, I just think that was pretty funny and yeah, one scene that really stood out to me that was just so beautiful and not necessarily funny but was the scene between Maggie and her mother
Mm.
in
Mhm.
episode 3, I guess, where she says, I've always looked up to you. And then
Mhm.
Aggie's like, wait, me? And she's like, yeah, you're just so adventurous and not scared and you put yourself out there and I just thought that that was a really beautiful moment between a mother and a daughter and
Mm.
I thought they did it so beautifully um and at that time it would have again it's that impact of having different opportunities as a woman like her mother would have had different opportunities than she had and so
Mhm.
being able to share that was just really beautiful and I think like a really powerful moment
Mhm.
for people to see and watch. But then also like a couple of the scenes with the kids too. I just think there's such actually the scene where you mentioned it earlier where I'm laying down and all 3 girls are there. They're like, "Can you do her hair?" And she's
Yeah.
like she just wakes up
Yeah.
and they're all just like
Yeah.
staring at her. Like it was kind of like
Mhm.
it was very unexpected, but also like really sweet and cute. And
Mhm.
yeah, I really like that.
Oh, that was a favorite for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's hard to believe we only have 3 episodes remaining. And we've heard rumors, and I know you kind of alluded to some good stuff coming up, but we've heard rumors of a first kiss between one of our newly established duos that have come into Brookfield. Could you give us any hot or cold clues with that question, or any hints? We've only got 3 episodes. The good news is we only have 3 episodes to go, so it's
Yes, this is good for our impatience.
yeah, good for our impatience.
Hey,
Huh?
I will say there will be fireworks.
Ooh.
Literally.
Okay.
And maybe is it like actually?
I thought you said literally. So you said figuratively the first time?
Yeah, figuratively and literally, I guess. Yeah.
All right.
We'll take both.
We'll take both. Yeah. We do like our after dark, as we call it. We take it the PG. We're not saying, I mean, yes, I do watch Bridgerton, so but I know what show I'm watching when I'm watching. But I'm just like so any fireworks are okay in our book.
Absolutely. Bring it on.
It'll be well worth the wait. It's really sweet. And yeah, yeah. Anyway, I can't say anything more except it'll be really sweet.
We'll have our edits ready. We'll be ready for you.
We'll be
For
ready.
whoever it is. We'll just be ready for the scene.
Well, how about any other teasers for episodes 4, 5, and 6? We've seen a few new characters. There seems to be some mystery around some new residents. A new orphan just joined the orphanage. So I guess this is kind of a two-parter, but yeah, any other teasers you can give us? And will we learn more about Jenny and her story?
We will definitely learn more about Jenny. There's a lot of mystery around her. And you know, she becomes she kind of becomes like an ally with Nora as well. So that's a really like beautiful connection together. And a kind of like sisterly connection, which is really beautiful. Um, so lots more to come when it comes to her. And there's a bad guy coming to town. So
Okay.
yeah, the thing I love so much about our show is that I feel like it really pushes the envelope or whatnot with like the love, with the humor, and with the action and the kind of like drama in there. So it's definitely heating up right now. Like we're at a 6, and episode 6 is going to be like a 10 as far as like intensity goes.
Wow.
So expect it to get quite intense, and there's some night scenes.
Nice.
Yeah, there's some mystery, and it's gonna get like a little bit tense and scary. And Nora is going to have one heck of a bomb thrown on her that she never expected, which is going to be very interesting. And you know, fingers crossed, when we do season 3, it's gonna be a wild ride for her. That's for sure.
Well, that's
Man,
exciting.
that's very exciting.
Yeah. No,
That's
well,
a
and I
good
think,
tease, Cindy.
very good tease. And I was gonna say, that is one of the things that really impressed with the pace, because you've got just this limited time, and it's used really well. And so that's exciting to see how much you can do in such a short amount of time too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alfonso and the other writers, you know, Kristen Hansen, she actually wrote episode 6. She's incredible. And yeah, the writers on the show have done such an incredible job of really taking it to the next level and making audiences like be on the edge of their seats. And that's what 5 and 6 is going to be like.
Man.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Oh my goodness.
I know when I scripts too, I was like, I know, and Chris and I have had this conversation before. We were like, whoa, this is gonna be awesome. And also, how are we going to do this?
That's so exciting when you're that excited. That's even more exciting for us, of course, as I mean, you're an audience member for so many things too. So you're just like, what would I want to see? And so
Yeah.
yeah.
Nora, my character is not in as well, and that's the beauty about the show. So there's a lot of the show that when I'm watching, I haven't seen like those scenes.
Oh.
So that's the really cool part about being like the movies that I've done with Chris Russell, typically 92% of the time we're together in the movie. So I kind of have an idea of what it's going to look like. But with this show, I'm always surprised and I'm so impressed. And I have to really give it to Jonathan Yap, who's our director of photography, for the entire season. He really creates like a seamless look for the show. And he's just such a talent. And of course, Alfonso, and actually follows directed episode 3 and 4. And she is so cool in how she shoots it. You'll notice there's a lot of movement in the scenes, like hair, the camera's always moving. It's really fun to see what each director's brought to their episode. And yeah, and it brings a new energy. And Megan really loves dynamic and she really loves banter, which is why episode 3 was so like back and forth. It was like a ping pong match, which Chris and I absolutely, and I think it turned out so well.
It turned out so well. One of my favorite shots of episode 3 was when Mountie Michael is coming to pick up Nora and she is looking at him through the window and she kind of lifts the curtain. And I noticed that was in the intro too before episode 3. And that shot was so gorgeous. I loved it. That was so cool.
That was a really good one. I completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're lucky enough to get a season 3, which fingers are definitely crossed, you kind of alluded to this a little bit, but if you could bring in a character that for any of the characters, or even who would like, do you have in your mind who else you would like to see come into Brookfield? Like, even if it be like Nora's boss, or a criminal that Bonnie Fletcher has put away, and then if you would have somebody in your mind of who you would cast in that role.
Oh, wow.
Pressure.
Oh, so much pressure. Maybe no, like an old love interest for Nora, where maybe he's coming to town looking to rekindle or looking to like see what she's up to. So he'll bring maybe a little bit of like that big city like confidence, but like not in like a fun way. Like maybe it'll be like everyone in Brookfield will be like, who is this guy? Like,
and there's every trope in every movie, which is great.
Yeah.
Maybe he's super likable. Like maybe he's that guy that every guy loves to hate, but every girl loves to love kind of thing. So that option. But I think, for something like that to happen, you'd want Michael and Nora to kind of get a little bit closer, and then, bomb kind of thing. But yeah, we'll see. That would be fun. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there is someone who comes around at the end of the season that may be along the lines of something you said. So I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, bring, trouble.
Well, great. Well, let's end on another fun question before we jump into a bit of season 1. I think it's been really fun to see Nora walking around town with a coffee in hand a couple times. And I'm a coffee girly. I have 2 coffees a day. So that was really cute to see. What is Nora's coffee order? And what is your coffee order?
Oh. I think Nora's coffee order is just like straight black. She's just like doesn't have time for like a fancy coffee. She's just like kind of like you, where she's just like, I like coffee, period. Like, give it to me. Yeah, so I think she's very simple in that. But Cindy is, I mean, I'm kind of similar in that I will put a little bit of cream in my coffee
Mhm.
and then a little bit of cinnamon. I love cinnamon in my coffee. So that's
Yes.
my simple order. If I want to get fancy with it, which is not very often because I really do like just good coffee,
Mhm.
I'll get like a vanilla latte, but I'm not like I don't like a lot of, I'm pretty sweet, but I don't like sweets. So
Mhm.
I don't like anything too sweet in my coffee.
Oh,
Catherine, do you
I
like
Oh, sorry.
Catherine, do you like coffee?
Oh no, I don't like coffee. My vice is Dr. Pepper.
also so good.
And I was gonna say I am going to have to edit this in so many different ways of resting whatever face. I'm gonna call it resting Zoom face. And I literally because of my internet. But here's the thing, Cindy. I Zoom host. That's my job. I'm a virtual meeting planner. So I Zoom host all day long. I do evenings and everything. I've never had so much trouble. It must be the excitement of a new podcast.
Let's see. Am I-
Yes.
Was like, but anyways, we just have a few trivia questions to end it. For season one trivia questions, and as you know, we give options, but I think at least on one of these you won't need an option. um, which previous co-star of yours not only appeared in season one, but also hosted the behind the scene videos to introduce viewers to When Hope Calls?
Introduce. Oh, wait. Say the last part
Yeah.
again.
Oh, sure. So
Yeah.
this co-star of yours appeared in quite a number of episodes in season one of When Hope Calls, and also did the little introduction videos introducing viewers to Brookfield and the cast.
Oh, is it Marshall Williams? No,
No,
I don't know. Oh, right, Kevin McGarry. Yes, McGarry. Got and fun fact, I think you already know this, obviously, but me and McGarry have the same birthday.
Yes.
yes, yes.
Which is so fun.
So fun. I can't believe I didn't get that. How embarrassing for me.
It's
I'm
okay,
like,
Cindy.
I'm like, gee, you know me, right? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
All right, we got just two or three more for you. Okay, Brennan, go ahead with the next one.
Yeah. What month in 2019 did When Hope Calls premiere? A, June, B, July, or C, August?
Oh, I'm gonna say, ooh, okay. I'm gonna say it was July.
So
August.
close. August, yeah.
Yes,
You
You
win. It's a half of a point.
it is. You were so close.
I knew it was in June because I remember going to the Hallmark TCAs
Mm.
and they were all there and I remember seeing everyone and I was like, that was I think July. So it was either anyway, August,
Mm.
August 2nd.
August. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, it was like August 31st. So it was just sliding into the summer before the fall. And that was before, I'm gotta think that's before countdown to Christmas started October 1st.
Oh,
Let's get it in.
Since we've talked about them, what was the name of the episode that Constable Grant came to Brookfield in? And your choices are a House United, Surprise, or The Search.
oh. A House United? The Search.
No, but The Search. But you know what? I put the House United because I thought it would be a good crossover of the two. But The Search, for he came to town to enlist Gabrielle's help in catching a fugitive.
Ah,
Mm.
makes sense.
And then, what episode did Lee and Rosemary Coulter come to Brookfield to help rebuild?
4?
So close.
Mhm.
2. They actually came in a lot earlier in the season than I remember.
That's right. Mhm.
And that one was called From the Ashes.
Mhm.
Oh, that's a good name. From
Yep.
the Love it.
And then Brennan can do the last one.
How many episodes are in season 1? A 8, B 10, or C 12?
It's 12. 10.
Yes.
I could have done it.
Another half point. It's good.
You know what? The confusion is it's the Christmas episode of what season do you include that one? So you know what? I'm giving you the point because the
Yeah,
Christmas episode's in the middle.
Thank you so much.
exactly.
You're welcome. I mean, one of these days, next when I do actually give you a hug in real life, you will have the trophy that will come with it.
Sophie.
Oh, well, thank you, Cindy, for coming and chatting with us.
Bye. This is crazy.
And really can't wait to have you come and talk about your next rom-com or anything that comes up down
Mhm.
the line too. So,
Great.
and we'll
This
have to have Evan join us.
Yes, and
Oh,
that's perfect.
thank you so much, Cindy. This was such a pleasure. We love you.
I love you guys so much. Congrats on this new show, and I'm excited to see what who's gonna be on next.
Thank
Us
you. We are
too.
too. We'll see.